Me, gentlemen.
Hey, Barbie. Can I come to your house tonight?
Sure. I don't have anything big planned, just a giant blowout party with all the Barbies and planned choreography and a bespoke song. You should stop by.
So cool.
You can find me under the lights, diamonds under my eyes.
This is the best day ever.
It is the best day ever. So is yesterday, and so is tomorrow, and every day from now until forever. Do you guys ever think about dying?
When my heart breaks.
Some things have been happening that might be related.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't expect it to pop out like that straight away. But I mean, it's, yeah. Like, he's not alive until she looks at him. It's like, it's just real. If you, like, I've been watching a lot of these modern female like dating things, you know, like on the street videos, clips they put on, and just kind of like fails and all that. And when you balance that out with this movie, you realize that there's a disconnect between modern females, and I'm talking about like 30, 20-year-old guy, you know, I'm like 30 years of, you know, past that, and have been married as well. So I get a real different look at that sort of, you know, side of things when it comes to dating and stuff. But there's this whole thing where females right now are asking, why aren't people, you know, why are males not looking at us, right? There's this whole dichotomy, I think, if that's the word, where there is it the word?
It might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a, you know, a product of their own making, you know, demonizing us for looking or paying attention, you know, or, you know, oh, don't look at me like that. Don't look at me in the gym. Don't look at me over here. It's like, well, you know, sorry. I mean, you know, if you present yourself a certain way, I'm going to look, you know,
that's it.
But,
and that's,
and then it gets to a point where now modern men don't really have that, don't do that anymore. And now they're complaining about men not being men. Well, you made your bed, you know. Why don't you? You told us what you didn't want, so we obliged.
We stopped.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
you know, and then they get mad about, you know, guys that go with easier women because they're paying attention to them.
Yeah.
You know,
and then my dad, like, got married to my mom. My dad's English, right? So he's white. Just want to make that clear. If you guys don't know, he's from Manchester, London, England, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before he married my mom, he had 2 kids of his own, like with an English lady, right? Who recently passed away. May she rest in peace. And you know, and this is in the 80s. So there was some situation. He went back to England to sort out. I think there was a death in the family or something like that. And he was there for a bit long. And so by the time he came back, you know, he was divorced, basically. He came back to find out that he was on his own. And so Dad basically decided, this is 40 odd years ago, right? And he's my only father I know, and he's the greatest man that I came to realize he's a great man, very intelligent. And so he answered an ad for my mom in Fiji. Like, my mom had put an ad in New Zealand Herald here, and they, you know, everybody knows that story, and it's fun about law, family law, and it's just a beautiful story. That my mom chose him out of 2 people, and the 2 men that approached her wrote back to her. One was a millionaire, right? But he had no kids, and my mom said, you know, I'm going to go with this guy because he had kids, you know, previously, and so and so it became our history. And I think my dad realized, and a couple of his friends also realized, that the modern European women, Western women. 40 years ago, we're on a downward spiral when it came to marriage and traditional homes. And not so much traditional homes as like both of them work, because my mum always worked here. My mum worked in Fiji. His mum's always worked here. So I don't see my dad saying that you shouldn't be working or something. But like there was, they both worked. They both, made it so that, we were all looked after and fed and stuff. Didn't really need much, in the way of anything. But 40 years ago, you had, divorced males, white males, and other males, right, marrying outside of their culture. And Dad got a bit of flack for that. And then, of course, his friend also went to, was married to a Kenyan, right, who long-time British guy. And also he later on married an Indian as well. So now you've got about, two different cultures, three cultural cultures, mixed race kids and stuff like that. And this family, and then in our family, there's two kids. Then there's me from another father and another father, because my mom was, from Fiji, and she was divorced as well with me from whatever circumstances. And then I have another half brother, and then who's younger than me, and I'm the oldest out of the whole, our gen, apart from my dad's side family. So what I found was the idea that when you tell men enough time, and I've been in situations as well, that they're not giving you what you want enough times, even though all they think they got to do is, and they've been raised to be just providers. That's all been taught. Look after your home, look after your kids, look after your wife. They have what they need. And then you're out there degrading them in front of your friends, chattering in the back and saying, oh, and then they, come home and get yelled at, whatever. Oh, you said this, and you have no idea why. After a while, the guy's going to go, I think I'm better off elsewhere with some other culture who are more traditional, who actually don't mind that.
There's a big surge in the United States of men going out of the United States and finding brides and bringing them back.
Yeah.
The young population here, the young women population here is complaining about it, and it's like, well, you treat us like crap. You treat them like crap anyway. So
exactly,
they don't care. They want to be treated. They want to be treated well. They want to be treated like a man. They want to be, they want a place that they can be. They want a person that they can come confide to and have that security. And the women here have been brainwashed to thinking that they're not supposed to be providing that, that's right. That's not a good thing to provide, so.
Yeah, it's like they've had this delusional, and I've didn't really want to talk about this publicly, but I think because of this movie, and because of all the videos that are coming out, and I'm in my 50s, and you guys are in your 50s, right, as well. So we're
I ain't in my 50s yet. Hold your horses. I ain't in my 50s yet, man.
Okay.
I'm not
around 50s. Yeah, so, and I'm looking back at the dating scene, and I'm going, well, there's no need to go dating anymore, because this, if I'm at a stage where I want to actually settle down again, and I've always said to myself, I'm never going to get married ever again. But if I do, I won't be getting married here, right? I'll be going to Asia. Yeah. And the reason for that is my first girlfriend was Asian, like she was from Taiwan, and she was great, and there was the first time I actually felt love without having to create, feel like I had to do something special every time, and so I felt like there was, I think that sort of partnership that they have is more realistic home life than we get in the West, where you must provide, buy me the latest thing, or you don't love me. That sort of attitude is childish. It's very, it almost, it does feel like a little girl mentality, the princess thing. Like when, it comes up to the dad, goes, Dad, I want this latest Barbie. And if you don't think, you don't love me, it's like, you don't love me if you don't do me. It's like, yeah, but there's food on the table. There's like, you've got the nice dress, you got your haircut, you know, you're getting to your clubs, you're getting your meetings, you know, you're going to the movie tickets, and then like, if I don't get you this one thing, then I'm hated. And that's what it feels like. I think modern dating scene, that's what it feels like. And relationships really feels like that from what I see. You know, if you don't just do this one thing, then you're dead to them, you know. And not to mention the whole baiting thing. I think this whole, you know, baiting guys, like, and then going out onto Facebook and exposing them for some badness. And it's like, yeah, you all that, you know, what, we're visual. Like, everybody knows males are visual. There's no sort of like a hidden secret, you know. Our eyes are always going, oh, nice, and carry on, you know. But like, you get caught and suddenly you're the devil, right? Or somebody's there standing there waiting for you to like look, and you're the devil.
But God forbid you go through her messages on her phone.
Yeah, right. And it's always locked.
I've had that.
Yeah, it's this. I think I don't feel sorry for the modern Western female at all anymore. I just don't. I think you did it to yourself. If you are miserable at 60, 40, 30, you did it to yourself. You listened to those people, the fourth wave feminists, who didn't say, who all the first wave were like, okay, we just want some right to vote, equality, yep, cool. And now you want a replacement, and it's like, okay, we want to replace you. Yeah. Well, we don't want that. We want equal partnership, and we love. I mean, I love the first idea of the whole, you know, feminism. I don't like what's become now, and I think a lot of the feminists are finding out that the new, that, you know, the real feminists are finding out that the new version of their version, you know, what they wanted is being replaced by some craziness, you know, and that insanity that's ruining women's lives, and they, you know, they're miserable, and they did it themselves, and they're miserable. They're crying online. Why won't anybody date me? It's like, do you understand what that looks like? That looks like you're an insane person. you know, that looks insane, and nobody wants to ever come close to someone going like that, you know.
So, anyway,
yeah,
so
that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, this Barbie movies, I think will hopefully people get away and realize that this is Ken over there. This is you here partying.
Well, all of society is based on a pendulum. The pendulum swings to the right, swings to the left, you know, and a lot of times it goes way to the right and goes way to the left, you know, and then it starts coming back, and we enjoy a little bit of that middle ground for a little while, and then it swings a little too far to one side, you know, and you know, that's how society works, you know, and I think we've hit the edge, and it's starting to swing back, you know, and hopefully for a few years, you know, we'll get people that are, you know, a little bit more like on that middle ground, and a little bit more sanity will you know, come back into society, and things will feel a little bit more normal instead of this wackiness we've been experiencing for the last 6 or 7 years. So, you know,
it's almost going on a decade.
That's one of the reasons that I enjoy collecting toys. It lets me get away from the insanity for a little while, you know. Lets me remember a time that was simpler, you know.
So, when you're a kid playing with a you know, G.I. Joe, or me playing with, I don't even know what doll I was playing with. I was hanging out on this thing, right, as a kid, and on Rubik's. And so this is a 3D Tommytronic. You can see there. This is the shark. It actually worked. This came out in the 80s, mid 80s, and there was a Tron version which I really wanted, but I couldn't. You know, it was out of my price range to replace. But so I got a shark one instead recently, the last couple of years, and so I'm still hanging out to find a Tron, because that's the one with burgundy.